Hello and welcome to the 6th edition on News Central TV, coming to you live from our studios in Abuja. I'm Neota Egbe. Our top stories at this hour. Death toll rises to 29 in Yobe boat mishap, with about 10 bodies still missing. INEC resumes nationwide voter registration as second phase begins. The post-Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro arrives at New York courthouse for first court appearance since his ouster. Details in a moment. The Yobe State Emergency Management Agency says the death toll from a boat accident has risen to 29, with about 10 people still missing. The State Emergency Management Agency says rescue and recovery efforts are ongoing as teams continue to search the river. 13 passengers were rescued alive and have been discharged from the hospital. The accident happened on Saturday evening when a canoe carrying 52 people capsized while traveling from Adiani in Jigawa State to Garbi community in Yobe. Most of those on board were fishermen returning to their bays. Preliminary findings point to overloading as a likely cause, with no life jackets on the canoe. The Yobe State government has ordered that rescue operations continue and steps be taken to prevent future boat accidents. And President Bola Tinubu has ordered the Minister of Defense, the Chief of Defense Staff, the Service Chiefs, the Inspector General of Police, and the Director General of the DSS to hunt down and arrest those responsible for the Kasuan Daji attack in Niger State. He told security agencies to act fast, bring the terrorists to justice, and rescue all abducted victims. The directive follows the killing of villagers in Niger State by terrorists believed to be fleeing Sokoto and Zamfara after a U.S. airstrike on Christmas Eve. Meanwhile, the Borno State Police Command has recovered 912 hidden rounds of ammunition in the Jambamari area of Maiduguri in Nigeria's northeast. The police spokesperson Nahum Daso says the ammunition has been secured and investigations are ongoing to identify its source and intended use. The police thanked members of the public for the timely tip-off and reaffirmed their commitment to intelligence-led policing. The residents were also urged to keep reporting any suspicious movements or activities in their communities. Away from security to politics, the Rivers State Deputy Governor, Professor Ngozi Odu, has formally left the People's Democratic Party for the All Progressives Congress. She said the decision followed Governor Siminalayi Fubara's recent move to the APC and is aimed at strengthening support for the president and the governor at the grassroots. Odu registered on Sunday in Akabuka, Ogba, Egbem, and Doni local government area and toured all 6 local government zones to promote the APC's ongoing e-registration drive. During the tour, hundreds of Labour Party members in Ndoni also joined the APC. In a related development, the Secretary to the Rivers State Government, Benibo Anabraba, has resigned from the People's Democratic Party. Meanwhile, Nigeria's political landscape has continued to shift as several sitting and former governors elected on the platform of the People's Democratic Party have defected to the All Progressives Congress over the years, citing political realignment and strategic interests. Let's take a look at some of them. In April 2025, the Delta State Governor, Sheriff Oberewori, defected from the PDP to the APC, becoming one of the most recent high-profile crossovers. This was followed in June 2025 by Akwa Ibom State Governor Umoeno, who also announced his departure. The trend dates back several years. Former Ebonyi State Governor Dave Umahi defected in November 2020, while former Cross River State Governor Ben Ayade followed in May 2021. In June 2021, former Zamfara Governor Bello Matawale also switched to the APC. Earlier defections include former Sokoto Governor Aminu Tambuwa, who left the PDP ahead of the 2015 elections, but later returned, and Aliyu Wamako, who defected in 2014. Former Kwara Governor Abdul Fattah Ahmed also crossed over in 2014, but later returned to the PDP. Additionally, in December 2025, Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara defected from the PDP to the APC, marking a major political shift in the oil-rich state. That same month, Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke also left the PDP, going on to the Accord Party, ending years of alignment with the opposition party in the Southwest. Now, there are strong indications that all Kano State government appointees are moving to the All Progressives Congress, effectively folding the new Nigeria People's Party structure into the APC in the state. This follows a defection of 484 former ward councillors led by the Commissioner for Information and Internal Affairs, Ibrahim Waya, who visited the new NNPP state chairman, Abdullahi Zubairu Abia, in Kano. Waya told journalists that the move has the backing of the governor and the party's national leader, Rabiu Kwankwaso.
We've been pleading with them, and we've been also sending our own request to them to kindly move from NNPP to EFC, because many of the party stakeholders across the state, the appointees, the elected in the state, we all have believed that this is the best political decision that what the Kano State government should actually consider or should actually take. The leadership of the NPP and the coordination of the national leader, Dr. Rabi Musa Kwankwaso, to consider this request, because it is a request that emanated from the people. And this is a democracy. Democracy is a practice of governance where the requests of the people are considered, where the demand of the people are also considered, because that is what constitutes democracy. People are the ones that actually constitute democracy. They are the ones that give authority and power to those elected or to those appointed. So, and they're the same people that are now demanding and requesting the old leaders to move or defect from NNPP to FEC, because we feel this is the best, I think, way to go about it, especially as the election is nearing. 2027 election is coming closer, and this is the best way that I think we feel that Kano State can actually be safer, be more secure, be more peaceful.
And now being joined to look at all the movements at all the levels, the movement from one party to the other. I'm being joined by a legal practitioner, a member National Working Committee of the ADC, Mr. Kenneth Okonkwo. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you very much, and Happy New Year.
And Happy New Year to you too. You're looking
happy
very bright.
Happy New Year to Nigeria. It's all the grace of God.
Okay, so let's start off with this. That last story we read talked about practically a collapse of almost the entire structure in Kano State of the NNPP and moving over to the APC. I mean, these movements are pointing, some will say they are pointing towards a one-party state.
Yeah.
And some have argued that it's not possible that that will happen. Are you one of those who's arguing such?
Very well. I'm one of those people that believe that it is not possible for one-party system to become dominant in Nigeria. We are too diverse. We are too enlightened. We are too democratic now to allow one-party states to dominate the polity. One-party state actually is like a dictatorial state where one person is now in charge of everything. The attempt by Ahmed Bola Tinubu to convert Nigeria to become Lagos will fail. He does not have what it takes to make Nigeria a one-party state. And in 2027, just watch it. In 2023, he won by 36% of the votes. Despite the overwhelming dominance of APC, they had majority of the governors, they had majority of everything, and yet he had 36% of the votes. Even when it was being said it's the turn of the South. And people that didn't have governors, didn't have members in the National Assembly, won as much states as he did. This time around, if opposition will come together, he is gone.
Let's look at now that you brought in the opposition thing, let's look at the movements in the opposition. We've seen practically all the governors in the PDP moving to the APC. I mean, what does that say? Is there an opposition? Good. The PDP was the most dominant opposition party at the time. Indeed, the PDP ruled Nigeria for 16 years and then moved on to become an opposition party. But right now, it looks as if the PDP is...
Now, in 2015, when PDP lost power, people were also saying that we were tilting towards a one-party state. They had almost 28 governors, but they lost power. Now, it is natural whoever is in PDP should leave PDP, because the division in PDP has become such that the Constitution says that if such division exists, people can leave a political party. because the division ran right from the top, and it has split the party so much that INEC does not even have any executive council or working committee to even recognize. So PDP is a carcass, and we care, like they say, an undertaker should just give it a befitting burial. So having said that, what do you expect? A governor that is coming from a burial ground, a governor whose face is hidden in the grave, what would he afford to give to his people? There is no governor that is coming from PDP that has anything to give to his own people. If he has something to give to his own people, I know of a governor in the Southwest, and I will always say that I like people of Southwest. Coming to 2023, they had 2 states that were in opposition. None of them had gone to APC. Southwest, where Tinubu is from. That tells you that all other governors that are going into APC are going in for convenience, not conviction. And when you're going in for convenience, all the people you are governing who are not comfortable with the government are not going to go with you. So the people are not convenient. It's not convenient for them. The regime that afflicted them to be paying 1,000 naira per liter of fuel when they were paying 195 before that regime came in. A regime that they are now paying 250,000 naira for flight ticket one way when they were paying less than 50,000 naira. A regime where people are massacred every day. In Niger State, and I'm talking within 24 hours. In Niger State, more than 50 persons have been massacred by terrorists. In Yobe, you just announced on your television that more than 25 persons have died, both capsizing. If you go 48 hours, because in Tinubu's regime, insecurity and the destruction of the lives and property of Nigeria can actually be calculated per daily basis, because it happens per daily basis.
But, if you want to,
how can people be convenient with such? How can they find some government convenient for their lives?
If you want to measure a regime by the number of deaths, you might be making a mistake, because you want to go back a little bit in 2014, where we had multiple attacks. Insecurity was almost at its peak at that time. 2013, 2014, insecurity was at its peak, and on a daily basis, we're getting news of suicide bombing all over the place. That is not the situation at this point in time, is it? And in 2017, we also had issues of kidnappings here and there, which have come down. Even the security will tell you that this has come down in some places where you could not go to before. Now you can actually go there. So are you saying that there's no good that has come in this administration?
None. The security challenge, and I'm not making an excuse for PDP. I've always said it, that PDP and APC, they've become a scourge on Nigeria. And that was why I said, if there is no new emergence of a coalition party by 2027, I will rest and pray to God. If it's PDP and APC, that's the only thing available. But the security challenge you just mentioned was limited to Northeast. Now it has metastasized, and it's everywhere in Nigeria, even in the Federal Capital Territory. So where is safe? No place to hide. We that believe in God, we are just hiding under the shade of the blood of Jesus, because that's the banner over us. Tinubu has made it compulsory that you just have to be praying to God to save you, because nothing saves you. The only thing Tinubu has afforded against insecurity is making empty broadcasts. I hereby direct the security agencies to arrest the culprits. Chicken, nothing else. So empty words. That APC has been very rich in loquacity, very poor in results.
So for the first time in a very long time, the Minister of Defense is a military person.
Yes.
A former military man. That doesn't give you hope?
You know what? Why put 2 ministers that are not knowledgeable in the area of security? 3 years into your regime, a lot of bad has happened. And it is always very difficult, more difficult to rebuild a destroyed system.
Okay, Mr. Okonkwo, just hold on a moment. We'll take a break. When we'll come back, we'll swing and look at when you talked about the emergence of a new platform.
Absolutely.
That platform looks as if it's, even before it's standing, it's already shaking. But we'll look at that in a moment. Do stay with us. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, here's a recap of our top stories. We started out with the news that death toll rises to 29 in Yobe State following a mishap that happened on Saturday. 10 bodies still missing. INEC has resumed nationwide voter registration with the second phase. And deposed Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro is at the New York courthouse for the first court appearance since his ouster on Saturday. Now, Nigeria's electoral body has resumed nationwide continuous voter registration, kicking off the second phase of the exercise. But we're having a conversation earlier, and our guest is still in the studio, Kenneth Okonkwo. That's the story that's happening. INEC has gone on with the second phase of voter registration across the country.
Yeah.
But voter registration where there is no viable platform, or where there's no viable there are no viable platforms on which the candidates can appear to be voted for, becomes a problem in itself. So I asked this question. You said, come 2027, there's no viable platform, then you will rest and will pray and ask God to help us. But you are a member of a party, ADC, right?
Yes.
And that party in itself, is it viable?
Extremely
viable. You have almost, if I have my count correct, about 4 court cases pending, one that has already been that's gotten judgment on, against the leadership of the party, against the seeming merger that
Which
is
one,
right
sorry?
there. Should I go back and
please go
a
ahead.
former presidential candidate of the party took the
ADC
ADC to court?
judgment against, so which one?
You have the I'm trying to get the name here.
Let me tell you.
Yes, I'm listening.
They couldn't even get an ex parte order in their favor.
Wow.
The judge threw it out. An ex parte order is an order given in the absence of the other party. So without even ADC appearing in court, the court considered their relief as lacking in merit. So you know what? All these are orchestrated APC.
How are they orchestrated? If you had the suit filed by the National Forum of Former Legislators to deregister the African Congress,
you just
currently pending at the federal court.
You say
but that's a court case against the ADC.
No,
asking that the party be deregistered.
I'm asking
I'm going on the other court. I'm just reeling through the court
There are
case.
too many court cases.
Okay, so
APC
how is that helping?
I told you APC miscreants, trying to infiltrate the ADC like they did to PDP, like they did to Labour Party, and they killed Labour Party. The difference here is that this is David Mark-led ADC. This is the association of all the coalition leaders representing all the opposition parties and forces in Nigeria. Let me tell you, not even the judiciary, not even INEC, not even Nigerian people like to have one party state, not even reasonable APC members. So this is a wild goose case.
So let's say this: a Kebbi State ADC leadership had gone to court, and on the 25th, on the 14th of October 2025, what the court decided, 14th of October, the High Court issued an interlocutory injunction. Hold on, which means restriction on acting as party leaders. The court
rejected. You're talking about the reliefs they sought.
Yes.
You're not talking about the order given. The order given is that was rejected. So I had treated this.
Yeah, treated this.
So you're saying that you're talking about one nephew.
You're saying that all of this is not in any way affecting the ADC's movement?
We just do like this. And we'll just move on.
What about the question of personal interest?
Yes.
In terms of who is going to get the presidential ticket? Because that's the other conversation. A lot of people will be wondering, is it going to be the former vice president? Is it going to be Mr. Peter Obi? Is it going to be... And now there's this story out there, Mr. Rabiu Kwankwaso saying that he's ready to work with Peter Obi if Peter Obi will get the presidential ticket.
Very good. There's nothing wrong in people aspiring to be anything in politics. However, as a member of the National Working Committee of ADC, I am aware that it's the members of ADC that will decide who will run for them. The advice I will give to any member of ADC, whoever is you want to be your candidate, go to your polling unit, go to your ward, go to your local government and your state, because every policy is local. Galvanize people to join ADC so that you would have the majority required. And this will push your own candidate or your own aspirant through And once the person emerges as the party's candidate, the whole party will fall in line and campaign for the person. So the aspirations are beautiful. I mean, that shows you that something is happening in ADC. If all these great men, all these great politicians are all coming around ADC and aspiring to contest under ADC, that's a beautiful thing. I mean, I welcome everybody into ADC. So what we will do is to have a level playing field for all the aspirants.
What's the guarantee that the field will be leveled?
I guarantee you that there will be a level playing field for every aspirant to aspire to any position and be elected through primary elections. That I know.
Because the constitution is watertight?
And because the managers of the constitution are determined. You know, when you are in opposition, you don't have the luxury of doing anything that would not appear to the Nigerian people as portraying integrity. Because you're not the ruling power. So the only power you have is the trust of the people. So you do everything to get the trust of the people. And ADC is positioned and determined to do everything to get the trust of the people. And then we're not building a party for the next election. We're building a party for the next generation. That's why we are ensuring that it is based on solid democratic tenets and features, so that you build a skyscraper of a democratic nation where the security and welfare of the people will be the cardinal objective of the rulers. In ADC, we emphasize party supremacy over individual recklessness. We don't tolerate any kind of indiscipline from any kind of transgenderic politician. No, we don't tolerate that. It's either you are APC, it's either you are APC or you are ADC. You cannot be ADC and be sitting in the ADC and shamelessly saying you're going to support Tinubu. Sorry, that era is not in ADC. We are African Democratic Congress. We want to build a nation where Nigeria will take its rightful place in Africa. Nelson Mandela said that Africa will not be respected until Nigeria ends that respect. ADC wants to build that international respect for Nigeria, which Tinubu has desecrated and destroyed. You can see how foreign nations come into Nigeria with gun ablazing. And Tinubu with his tail in between his legs will be...
Oh, Mr. Kenneth Okonkwo, I want to thank you for coming. Mr. Kenneth Okonkwo is a legal practitioner and a member of the National Working Committee of the African Democratic Congress. Thank you for coming this evening.
Thank you very
much. We look forward to having you more again.
My pleasure.
Well done. Moving on now, in what appears, as we said earlier, lessons learned from past legislative setbacks, the House of Representatives has concluded amendments to the Electoral Act well ahead of the next general election cycle. The lawmakers say the only action is aimed at avoiding previous delays that resulted in withheld presidential assent, while also responding to long-standing concerns over electoral credibility, especially among young Nigerians. And the Resource Center for Human Rights and Civic Education has asked the federal government to initiate bold and far-reaching reforms that will transform every sector of the nation. The executive director of the center, Ibrahim Zikirulahi, while giving a review of the past year and expectations of 2026, called on government to initiate reforms that will boost the nation's economy with a focus on reducing the cost of governance, revitalizing agriculture, manufacturing, judiciary, and Nigeria's national security. Zikirulahi urged government to strengthen the nation's electoral body and tackle corruption judiciously, while calling on citizens to be more responsive to their actions and demand change from government.
Nigeria cannot continue in this path. The government must reduce the cost of governance and implement the Orosaye report. Prioritize agriculture, manufacturing, and local government-driven development. Reform the judiciary and security institution. Strengthen INEC and restore public trust in elections. Protect civic freedoms and uphold the rule of law. Address wage inequality and ensure fair compensation for workers. Tackle corruption decisively and transparently. These are not suggestions, they are necessities. In 2026, citizens must hold leaders accountable, refuse to sell their votes, demand transparency, defend their rights, stand united against impunity. Democracy survives only when citizens refuse to surrender their power.
When sixth edition returns, Guinea's new president says the nation is a political and economic sovereign state. Details in a moment. In Guinea, President-elect Mamadi Doumbouya has called for a nation of political and economic sovereignty in his first address to the country. The announcement comes after the Supreme Court officially confirmed him as the winner of the December 28 presidential election, awarding him 86.72% of the votes. Doumbouya, who took part in a coup 4 years ago and had pledged not to run for office, defeated 8 other candidates. He now faces the challenge of uniting a nation while pursuing the political and economic goals he outlined in his inaugural address.
Économique pleinement. J'appelle solennellement toutes les filles et tous les fils de d'autres nations d'ici et de la diaspora à se rassembler pour bâtir ensemble une Guinée nouvelle, une Guinée de paix, de justice, de prospérité partagée et de souveraineté politique.
Dozens of Sudanese have fled escalating violence to Kosti, south of Khartoum, describing harrowing journeys marked by hunger and thirst. Many escaped from Heglig, home to Sudan's largest oil field, trekking through forest without food or water. Refugees say they drank from livestock ponds after crossing the South Sudan border twice, as RSF paramilitary fighters advanced on their communities.
في مدينة بابانوسا قاعدين يهود عامة ديل جونا ومرقونا من البيوت والله اللابس فستانه توب ما خلونا لبسناه أولادنا ديل مرقوا حفيانين يدفرونا كده من البيوت يقول لنا خلاص دي تاني ما بيوتكم.
الرحلة أخذت مننا 15 يوم يعني ال 15 يوم دي كده العربية بتعطل لنا في الشارع كده نعمل أسبوع كده قاعدين في الغابة العربية بتعطل لنا نعمل لنا 3 يوم كده يعني.
والله وصلنا في 14 يوم تعبنا شديد مرة واحد والله العظيم هسي نيلان ذاته في قرآن يا هذا نيلان ذاته كله مقطع يا هذا وين ده نيلان.
Ousted Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro has pleaded not guilty to all 4 charges brought against him by the U.S. authorities at a New York courthouse. The 4 charges include drug trafficking, narco-terrorism, and money laundering. Maduro was flown into Manhattan under heavy security after being seized by U.S. forces in a military operation carried out over the weekend. Meanwhile, hundreds of Maduro supporters gathered outside the courthouse to protest his capture and ongoing trial.
جمهور و همسر رئیس جمهوری کشور ربوده شده این اصلاً جای افتخار نداره. این یک عمل کاملاً غیرقانونی است و همونطور که خود مقام‌های
And as reactions continue to trail the U.S. action in Venezuela, Iran has called for the immediate release of ousted President Nicolas Maduro following his capture in that operation and transferred to New York to face trial. Tehran describes the action as unlawful and says detaining a sitting president and his wife violates international norms, reiterating its support for the Venezuelan people. China has also condemned the operation, accusing Washington of using force against a sovereign state and undermining international law. Maduro, a close ally of both Iran and China, was seized in Caracas days ago. He was flown under heavy security to the United States and transported in an armored vehicle to a New York courthouse. The development has intensified global criticisms of U.S. actions and heightened diplomatic tensions. Meanwhile, Venezuela's interim president, Delcy Rodriguez, has announced the creation of a special commission aimed at securing the release of former leader Maduro and his wife. The pair were captured by the U.S. Special Forces and taken to the United States. The decision was made public on Sunday by Venezuela's Communication Minister Freddy Nanez during a broadcast on state television.
Dos comisiones. La primera es la comisión de alto nivel para la liberación del presidente Nicolás Maduro Moros y de la primera dama y primera combatiente Cilia Flores de Maduro. Esta comisión de alto nivel estará presidida por el doctor Jorge Rodríguez Gómez, presidente de la Asamblea Nacional y jefe del Diálogo y la Paz de Venezuela, por nuestro canciller Iván Gil, por la compañera Camila Fa.
In the meantime, China urged the United States to immediately free Nicolas Maduro and his wife after the U.S. strike. The Chinese Foreign Ministry labeled the operation a violation of international law and an effort to topple Venezuela's government. The demand underscores escalating friction between Beijing and Washington over Latin American influence.
我们从不认为哪一个国家可以充当国际警察，我们也不认同哪一个国家可以自诩为国际法官。各国的主权和安全都应当受到国际法的充分保护。我们一贯反对在国际关系中使用或威胁使用武力，反对将一国的意志强加于别国。中方愿意同包括巴基斯坦在内的国际社会一道，坚定捍卫联合国宪章，坚守国际道义底线，坚持各国主权平等，共同来维护世界的和平与发展，共同来推动构建人类命运的共同体。
Swiss government says on Monday that it had decided to freeze any assets held in Switzerland by the deposed Venezuelan president or his associates with immediate effect. Bern said it had reached its decision after Maduro was seized in Caracas in a short U.S. operation and brought to New York. Describing the situation as a volatile one, the Swiss government said in a statement that it wanted to ensure that any illicitly acquired assets cannot be transferred out of Switzerland in the current situation. The government added that should future legal proceedings reveal that the funds were illicitly acquired, Switzerland will endeavor to ensure that they are sent back so that they are benefiting the Venezuelan people. Now here's a look at the accusations against Maduro and the charges he faces. Maduro is charged alongside his wife, his son, and 3 others. He is indicted in 4 counts: narco-terrorism conspiracy, cocaine importation conspiracy, possession of machine guns and destructive devices, and conspiracy to possess machine guns and destructive devices. He is facing the same charges as in an earlier indictment brought against him in a Manhattan federal court in 2020. That was during President Trump's first term. Now, let's also take a look at some of the countries that the U.S. had bombed since the 1960s, as the U.S. warplanes continue operations across global hotspots from Syria to South America. Let's take a moment to look at some of the countries bombed by the U.S. since the 1960s and the lasting impact of decades of military intervention. We'll begin in the 1960s and 70s, Indochina era. In 1961, the U.S. provided air support during the failed Bay of Pigs invasion in Cuba aimed at toppling Fidel Castro. From 1965 to 1973, the skies over Vietnam saw heavy U.S. bombing during the war through campaigns like Rolling Thunder and Linebacker 2. And between 1969 and 1973, Cambodia was secretly bombed under Operation Menu, targeting North Vietnamese and Khmer Rouge forces. In the 1980s and 1990s, the U.S. turned its focus to the Middle East and the Balkans, 1980s to the 90s. In 1987 and 1988, the U.S. strikes hit Iranian targets during Operation Praying Mantis. In 1998, Afghanistan was targeted with cruise missiles after the U.S. embassy bombings in East Africa. In 1999, a U.S. B-2 bomber mistakenly hit the Chinese embassy in Belgrade during the Kosovo conflict. Then came the 2000s. Through the 2020s, the War on Terror era. From 2001 to 2021, Afghanistan was under a continuous 20-year U.S. air campaign launched after 9/11. In Yemen, drone strikes began in 2002, continuing through 2025, shifting in recent years to target Houthi rebels. Iraq saw major strikes in 2003 during the invasion and again from 2014 as the fight against ISIS escalated. Between 2004 and 2018, Pakistan was hit by covert drone operations in tribal regions. Somalia has faced U.S. airstrikes from 2007 to the present, targeting al-Shabaab. In 2011, the U.S. joined NATO in bombing Libya during the uprising against Muammar Gaddafi. And in Syria, U.S. strikes began in 2014, initially targeting ISIS, then expanding to other militia groups. Most recently, in 2025 and 2026, a new operational theater has emerged. In 2025, the U.S. launched precision strikes on Iran, aiming to degrade nuclear military capabilities. That same year, in a joint effort with Nigeria, U.S. aircraft struck insurgent strongholds in northwest Nigeria. In 2026, U.S. forces carried out targeted airstrikes on military assets in Venezuela following regional tensions and threats to energy infrastructure. This timeline reflects how American air power has been used often controversially across the globe, shaping geopolitics, security, and public opinion for generations. I'm now being joined by Benjamin Ben Gong, International Relations and Diplomatic Affairs expert. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much, Minister.
Mr. Gong, this situation right now, this Venezuelan situation, that's the latest one, but you've seen the time now we've gone through from 1960 till date. The U.S. has been involved in countries across the globe. But this Venezuelan situation, what does it say?
First, let me talk about the U.S. involvement across the world, summarizing it in two statements. United States, over the decades, has killed more people around the world than all of the First and Second World Wars put together. So the consequences have been quite devastating. But talking about Venezuela in specific terms, I think United States has hit the wrong person now. And some consequences you begin to see evolving. And certainly, I think much bigger lessons are going to come out of this. United States, let me say straight from the onset, that U.S. is not going to get away with this.
So when you say U.S. is not going to get away, the U.S. has been like a global watchdog, watching every nation, their nuclear armament or weaponization, or as the case may be, even their economies. The U.S. has had interest in practically every country across the globe. Yet you say they're not going to get away with this. Who's going to hold them accountable?
When you say the U.S. has been the global watchdog, I think that's an understatement.
Them too much?
That's giving America too much.
Really?
America is the terror of the world. I make no apologies over this. It's the terror of the world, not the watchdog. The watchdog should be one that brings peace to the world, that tries all that it can to bring peace amongst nations, among nationalities. The United States is doing the opposite, killing, like I've said earlier, killing and killing and killing. But who is going to hold America accountable? I can tell you that the world is not just going to watch. The era of direct physical colonization is over. America is not going to go into Venezuela like Trump has declared, bomb, take away this guy, and then rule Venezuela, take his oil. I mean, how defiant could a leader be? I think there's something wrong somewhere. A lot of countries, you must have had, let me just finish.
Okay.
You must have seen global response. Countries around the world, countries around the globe are saying, look, they've condemned in very emphatic terms.
If you want to look at it from the countries that have reacted, we've heard from China. We've heard from Iran.
That's where I was coming.
We've heard from China. We've heard from Iran. We've also heard from Switzerland. Now, if you look at this, Iran and China have ties with Venezuela.
Yeah, very close ties.
Good.
In fact, Venezuela, China boasts of over $100 billion worth of investment in the Venezuelan oil economy alone.
Hold on, but we've heard from France, right? Branding Maduro a criminal. We've also heard from Switzerland saying whatever funds were freezing every asset of his, and then when we find out over time that the reason these assets are here, they were illegally acquired, they will be reverted back to the Venezuelan people. So we've mentioned 4 countries here, 2 for, 2 against.
Yeah.
And yet you say that the U.S. is a terror. But there are some who are saying that what the U.S. is doing, I mean, it is believed that Maduro lost the last election but does not want to leave office.
Yeah. So the best
Can you just chew on this? We'll take a moment.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
Yeah.
Please stay with us. Welcome back. I will still have Mr. Bem Gong here in the studio, and we're talking about the Maduro-Venezuela situation with the U.S. Well, the update coming in has it that Nicolas Maduro has declined any bail condition. He doesn't want to bail. That's the latest we have. So before we enter that book, we're talking about the reactions of the different countries. 2 for, 2 against. And we have Iran, we have China, and we know they have relations with Venezuela. We know France is there, and then Switzerland. But we also know that France also buys Venezuelan oil. So in chewing on this, what do you think is the situation?
Don't miss out the big boy in Russia.
We have not. Russia hasn't really come out to say anything.
No, they have.
Have they?
Go,
earlier.
Check it out. They have. And the Russians are not just saying something. The Russians are also mobilizing their militaries, ready to strike America direct hit. So the Russians are speaking even far more vocal than those who are.
But is that not giving credence to the major reason why some will say America invaded Venezuela? In the sense that Venezuela, in terms of airstrikes, nuclear airstrikes or missile strikes, Venezuela is the nearest country to the U.S.
Yeah.
So if that area is opened up, Russia, China, and Iran can hit the U.S. faster than any other nation through there. So isn't that considered the reason why America was okay? No, let's protect ourselves and ensure that someone who's there is our ally.
Let me tell you something. Trump speaks through the files, through intelligent files that America sometimes hides from the rest of the world for years. Trump is speaking through the files. The reason for invading Venezuela is not Maduro. Certainly not. Because if the reason for attacking Venezuela were Maduro, as Americans are making us, some people are making us to believe, you've taken out Maduro. Self-custody back to the United States, already charged him to court and the rest of it. That should have ended. But Trump went ahead to declare openly, unequivocally, that we're going to rule Venezuela. We're going to take their oil to the benefit of Americans and perhaps leave some crumbs to the Venezuelans. Who does that, Minister, in the 21st century? That is, it's unbelievable. It's the height of insanity. There's no way those who have interest in Venezuela will allow that go. Don't forget, Venezuela has oil deposits, almost more than that of America. And
the largest oil deposit.
The largest deposit. More than America
even gold as well.
And Saudi put together.
Yes.
That is what America is eyeing.
Okay.
That is what is in their security.
It's not, you think it's not their security?
No, it's not about security. It's not about...
Mr. Gum, I'm afraid we'll have to leave it here. Mr. Benjamin
That is what
Bemgong,
America is eyeing.
Thank you so much. International Relations and Diplomatic Affairs expert. Thank you for coming in this evening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We look forward to bringing us back here. This conversation, we must have it in depth.
It's a very wide conversation.
A wide conversation.
But I promise you one thing.
Yes.
America will not get away with this.
All right.
Watch how the next 1-2 weeks will evolve.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Gunn. Thank you for coming in once again.
Yeah.
All right. A bit of sports before we wrap up. The Super Eagles of Nigeria are an hour away from their round of 16 clash against the Mambas of Mozambique. And joining us live from Fez, Morocco, to give us an update regarding the match is our sports correspondent, Udoka Njoku. Hey, Udoka.
Good evening, Nelta.
It's good to see that you're. I like the way you're looking now, Udoka. Oh, thank you for that. Any surprise changes on Eric Chell's starting 11?
Yeah, well, we're waiting for about an hour before the game. By 7 o'clock, the team sheet will be out. Going to be sure what to expect from Eric Chell. But we're expecting an all-attacking formation from Eric Chell. From killers that we're hearing, it looks like it could be Victor Osimhen and Akwa Adams up front with Ademola Lookman on the wings as well.
Okay, considering the group stage performances, do you think they have what it takes to claim a quarterfinal spot? And note, Udoka, there's this thing that normally happens between when the Super Eagles or when Nigerian teams are playing against what they consider a smaller team?
Well, with what we saw during the group stage of the tournament, I believe that the boys have what it takes to go all the way, not just the quarterfinals now, even to the semifinals, and we can push for the finals. But we'll take it one step at a time, right? So against Mozambique, I don't think they stand a threat to the Super Eagles of Nigeria, but they can be a banana peel. See what's happening between Egypt and Benin Republic. It is 1-1 currently, heading close to 90 minutes. Who would have thought that Egypt and Benin will be struggling to a 1-0 draw? So anything can happen in football. There are no more minnows in football. So expecting a firecracker later today against Mozambique. But I still feel like the Super Eagles have an edge. Although, for the fans angle now, I like to bring this up to speed now. It's been raining crazy things, and the fans are just beginning to troop into the stadium. Some have said they will not be able to make it down to the stadium because of the weather. It is not a closed stadium. So they are afraid when it starts raining, the rain just might beat the fans. But some of them are beginning to come in their throats now for the support for the Super Eagles. And we're just expecting more of them to come just before 8 o'clock. But like I said earlier, it's going to be a firecracker between Nigeria and Mozambique.
Okay, right now we know that the scoreline between Benin and Egypt is 1-1, but that's about a minute or two ago, 1-1. And the game is still on, just a few minutes left. No one knows what that will be. But what are your scoreline predictions for this match? Do you maybe you have one prophet that has told you something in your ear?
Well, for a couple of days now, I've been predicting correctly some of the scorelines. So I still think Nigeria will edge this one. Maybe 3-1, maybe 3-1 or 3-0, because we've been conceding in all our games. So 3-0, 3-1 for the Super Eagles of Nigeria, with Victor Osimhen probably scoring a brace.
All right, thank you so much, Dokan Joko, our correspondent who is in Fez, Morocco. We wish you well and we wish the Super Eagles well.
Thank you very much.
And that's all on the 6th edition for today. Here's a recap of the major stories we brought to you. We told you earlier that the death toll has risen to 29 in the Yobe boat mishap. About 10 bodies are still missing. We also told you that INEC has resumed nationwide voter registration in the second phase. And we told you that Venezuela's ousted leader, Nicolas Maduro, was to appear in court, which he has already done, and has turned down every offer of bail. Remember, you may send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on your screen. We'd like to hear from you. Tell us what you think. And do follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV on all the social media platforms. All of them, News Central TV. You can watch us on News Central Live on DSTV, channels 422, GoTV channel 23, StarTimes channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. I want to say thank you for watching. We'll see you again tomorrow. I'm Neota Heglig.